guys so much for joining us for another episode of the A5 podcast. Today I'm joined with the boys. I got Sandro, we got Eric, and we have a special guest that I'll go ahead and I'll let Sandro do the intro for real quick. But guys, real quick, thank you so much for subscribing, liking, commenting. Your support means the world to us. Thank you so much for being patient with us while we were on that little break. But, you know, we're back. So, Sandro, go ahead, take it away.
Absolutely. I'm extremely excited for today's guest. I've been wanting our church, my church in Tampa has been blessed with so many amazing leaders, pastors, communicators, and today we have the privilege and honor to sit down with one of them, and I'm just excited to introduce him. But let's give it up for Pastor Kevin Harden.
Woo! Honored to be here.
Yeah, so excited to have you here today. Let me just give a quick bio. Pastor Kevin is a native of North Carolina. My brother went to Wake Forest. He just graduated from Wake like last year, so he was there for 4 years. Went up there last year. Beautiful up there.
Nice.
He's I love how you said this, transplant to Florida from the DMV area.
Yes.
A husband, a wonderful husband, an amazing father of three, a leader, and that is for sure. I can speak to that myself. A lot of testimonies that have come from our conversations, our one-on-one conversations. He's the creative director at Courageous Church, a lover of God, good food, and good people. So I love that. So PK, honored to have you here with us today. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for taking time out of your day, your busy schedule, to be with us today. Just give us a quick 5-minute synopsis of who is Kevin Harden.
Absolutely. Thank you guys again. Bio pretty much summed it up. I'm a simple guy. Really hate talking about myself. But I am also a son. So I have a sister 8 years older than she is. From North Carolina. Met my wife in North Carolina in 1998. So, fellas, I don't even know if you guys were alive then. But tell you how long ago it was, I gave her my pager number to communicate.
Wow.
So that's how long ago it was, yeah. And moved down to Florida, in Clearwater, actually, for a short stint, about 2.5 years. We had lost contact, and I Googled her one day from my office.
Wow.
Just blind Google. Hadn't talked to her in maybe like a little over a year. She had been in D.C., moved up for grad school, and Googled her, called her blind in her office. We started talking, and the rest is history. So,
Power of Google.
Power of Google. Yeah. I love technology.
Yeah, that's it. And speaking of power, shout out to Karan, your lovely bride. Yeah. That is probably the epitome, the definition of a power couple. Right, Pastor Kevin and Karan, they're phenomenal.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Open, close.
That's it. But let's get right into it. I had an idea of like where I kind of wanted to take this conversation because we had our discipleship classes this week. Yeah. And you taught on generational curses. And that's always been a topic that has struck a nerve with me, and we'll probably get into it. I mean, if you've watched the podcast before, you know I've talked a lot about my upbringing, my father, things that I was exposed to at a young age. I'll start the conversation here, though, with a testimony a story that happened, something you told me that I will never forget. We were at a Metro Diner or spot. We love to go there every now and then to grab lunch and just chop it up and talk. And one thing that Pastor Kevin and I have in common is that both our wives are travelers. Like, they travel a lot for work. So we spend a lot of time. Well, you have kids, so not necessarily you're by yourself, but we relate in that sense. Yeah. And so I was just like, it was one of those weekends where Kim was out of town, and I'm just like, man, like, help me out. What's the secret? Like, this is tough. And from a spiritual level, purity level, right? It's like, it's tough. It's like you're by yourself a lot. And I remember I was just talking to PK about just all these things that I'm trying to do because I'm scared. I don't want to mess up and this and this and this and that. And this conversation had to be probably about a year ago. So I feel like from what you told me, it's shifted my perspective. It's shifted the way I even carry myself and just do life when Kim is out of town, right? So anyway, I'm telling you all these things that I'm doing because I keep saying like I'm scared of messing up, and it ran in my family. Like my dad was unfaithful, my uncles, and blah blah blah. And I'm like telling you all of this. And I remember you just like listened to me, and you told me this, which I'll never forget. You said, "Stop orchestrating your life around someone who is dead." Like, yes, you struggle with those things. We're men. We got to be careful. We got to watch ourselves and whatnot. But you also don't have to walk so much in eggshells. Like, stop orchestrating your life in such a way where you're like, oh no, the old Alessandro would have done this and this and that. And you were like, that old Alessandro's dead. And it really hit me like, you're right. Why am I so like, oh man, I gotta, because that old guy is dead.
Wow.
And you really got to shift that perspective when you become a believer. Like, you are a new creation.
Correct.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're like, oh, I'm a new creation. Let me go to a strip club. Nothing's going to happen. Don't do that.
Right.
But there is a sense of freedom that comes from that guy's dead.
Absolutely.
And so, I don't know, expound on that.
Yeah. To me, dealing with this and coming from a family of, all kinds of individuals and different lived experiences, it's easy to get caught up into the narrative of what has always been will always have to be. And even, looking back in your youth and words being spoken over you, or even times when you've gotten down and said these things to yourself.
Yeah.
It comes a time where you really have to be honest enough with God and say, this is who I am.
Yeah.
I'm giving you all of me. Allow me to be who you would want me to be. Right. And then start to embrace that. But it's easy to, it's just like a reflex of we going back to who we used to be.
Yeah.
Because look at all the time that we have been that old person and that old man, experiences and, repetition and, failures and all of these things we have to point to.
Yeah.
Right. So it's easy to look back as a reference.
Yeah.
But it's hard to throw that away and start living a new life because a lot of times you really don't have a reference, and you're now going to go back and say, well, I know me. Right. I know the old me, and the old me would do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't really give yourself or afford yourself the same grace that you've been given to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, I've failed more times than I can even count or even try to put and equate. But the thing that gives me, strength is just like, hey, I didn't make myself. Right. Wow. And the knees still have to bend because that forgiveness, you have to ask for that daily. You have to die daily. And that is something that's not cliche, because that old man is going to, like the Thriller video, every day he's going to reach up and try to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's in rhythm.
Yeah.
Because that's your old life. So
Yeah.
you're going to, have to work to get past that point. But I just wanted you to be free, man.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. I just wanted you to be free in that moment, because the fear was real and the heart was real. But fearing something so much, you can kind of start to create that reality for yourself, or, talk yourself out of things that God has told you to do because you fear the old you, and that will prohibit you from actually being obedient and walking in his grace.
1,000%. No, and that's so good. And I remember sharing with you that in that conversation, we were sitting down, and I actually took you and Iris there. Remember Metro Diner, the spot that I took you guys one time? It's a diner.
Oh, yes.
Spot.
Yeah.
Chicken and waffles, man.
I know, but I remember telling you that again. It's still a fear. It's still very real, but not in the sense of like, not in that way. I feel like because of that conversation, I'm like, man, it just shifted so much in me, and I want to let you know that I'm grateful for that, because it did more of an impact than you know.
Amen.
I told you in that conversation, I was like, my biggest fear at the time, again, still is, but not in the same approach, is to be in front of Potiphar's wife and not be able to run away like Joseph did. Like, for whatever reason, you find yourself in a situation where, like, Joseph was where he was supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's not like he was at the wrong time. Like, we talk about King David and Bathsheba.
Right.
Like, he was definitely not, he wasn't supposed to be looking up there. He wasn't supposed to be doing his thing. Joseph was where he was supposed to be at. Like, Joseph was in
that's such a good parallel.
Potiphar's
that's a good
house,
point.
serving. The Lord had put him there.
Yeah.
Yet, this woman comes and, she had to be fine, because for you to run away, like, if she was ugly, you'd be like, nah, man, touch me.
That's
you know what I mean?
Yo,
But it's real. But it's true though. It's so real.
But it's the strength.
I don't know Potiphar, but he seems that he would not be with just any woman.
That's true.
Correct.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
True. And so it always was a real fear. Like, Lord, I never want to be caught in a situation where I'm in front of Potiphar's wife, same scenario, and I don't have the strength or ability to run away.
Can I present this?
Yes, sir.
I believe that he was in the right place physically, but I also believe he was in the right place in character and spiritually.
Fair enough. Right.
In order to run, you know that I'm not supposed to be here. And I also believe that he saw the implications of what would come if he did what he did.
Yeah.
And it also strikes me is that this is not her first time doing this.
Correct.
Probably.
You know what I'm saying?
Promiscuous girl.
You know what I mean? It's like you were married to a powerful individual who's probably away handling business. You are in the house, and this is your companionship, right? But when it moves from that, and then it's, I'm going to get what it is that I want, then you still have to be strong enough to be who you're supposed to be, right? So being in that position, it's a lot of responsibility, but at the same time, try not to put yourself in that position.
Yeah. Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even if you're in the right place where you're supposed to be,
Right.
mentally, are you in the right place? How are things with you and your wife? How are things with you and your girl?
Yeah.
Right.
Do you really have the character enough to say, I'm going to honor my wife or my spouse or my significant other with my eyes, with my thoughts,
Right.
with my conversation?
Yeah.
Right. So that can easily transition from I'm running to, I don't know, let's just see where this goes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the difference.
That's
right?
the huge difference.
Yeah.
I think the enemy would be so strategic to make you comfortable to think you're in the right place,
Yeah.
and to let your guard down,
absolutely.
and in that setting, throw a temptation your way, for sure. So I love what you said, that it was yes, he was in the right place, but his heart, his character was also there with him.
Yeah.
That's what sustains you.
Yeah.
In the right place, and we've
Correct.
had this conversation plenty of times.
Yeah.
And that's the enemy's playbook too, though.
Yeah.
If we go all the way back to Genesis, in the garden, they were placed there,
Yeah.
Right.
and temptation still found them.
Yeah.
So being in alignment does not absolve you from temptation.
Yeah. That's good. Being in alignment doesn't absolve you from temptation.
No.
That's so good.
And actually, I would even, I don't know. I'm not saying this is theology, but I would even say it almost like, hey, it's like, I think of Jesus fasting and going into the desert.
Yeah.
It's almost like the enemy met him there.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's trying to stop you from being in alignment.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that old saying, right, where it's like if the devil's not, I think it was Denzel Washington. He's the one that he was in an interview. And he said that if the devil's not messing with you, then you're not doing something right. If he's not coming after you, then that means you're not doing anything to threaten him. So
Denzel.
Shout out to Denzel.
Shout out to Denzel.
That's
Yeah,
good.
That's true.
Good.
And it's not even, I say definitely yes, the enemy, but also us being able to check ourselves too, because alignment also may put you in positions where you feel like that you're not qualified for.
So that imposter syndrome
You
starts
have
to
that in there, like, I'm supposed to be here, but I don't feel like I'm qualified enough to be here, right? And you'll self-sabotage.
Yeah.
So you'll allow the enemy to say that to you, and then you move yourself out of alignment. So it's not anything external; it could be internal.
Yeah.
So again, that character, that self-esteem, also, and making sure that that's right, because he's going to tempt you. That's his job.
Yeah. There's one thing that I want to share that our pastor back home, shout out Pastor Matt, he said something, and he wasn't preaching on this. It was a ministry moment, and I think it was during Essentials. He was on the stage, and he goes, so hold on, before I say that.
Essentials is their courageous life, right?
Yeah.
The
Okay,
discipleship
cool.
program.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So before I mentioned that, there was a conversation that you and I had, and I was talking to Alessandro. I was like, man, I wonder how these pastors, like our lead pastors and all these pastors you see, obviously you see the ones that unfortunately have had those scandals and they've fallen, and they have to go through their process. But then the ones that haven't fallen, right, or that never fell, right, like the Billy Grahams and all this stuff, man, how did they manage to keep themselves, if they bumped into a Potiphar's wife, where they kept themselves sanctified, where they had that self-awareness, like Joseph, like how you mentioned, that it was like, I think he knew the implications of what would happen. Like, if I mess with this woman, which ended up happening, right? She ended up still messing, screwing him over. But still, like, what he feared still happened. But he knew before she ever ripped off that coat, I know I'm going to die. I could die. I'm going to end up in jail. I'm going to ruin my life just because of one woman that's not even mine. That's not going to happen. So me and Alessandro were having this conversation, and we're like, man, like, how do these guys, like, stay sanctified? How do they stay consecrated? How do they make sure? Because you can have accountability, you can have all the accountability in the world, but even then, I know that some of those men that have fallen, they had accountability, they have overseers, they have apostles watching over them, and they still fell. They still committed their sin, they still committed their moral failure. So my thing is, like, there's something more there, right? And then fast forward, I think it was the week after me and him have this conversation, my pastor's on stage, and he just quietly says it. He goes, I don't know why I'm saying this, but you don't have a lust issue. You have an intimacy issue.
That's good.
And I was like, oh my gosh, that's the freaking answer. And I'm like, what? It's in front of you, right? The whole time. I'm like, obviously. I was like, duh, light bulb moment. I'm like, of course. But I was like, wow, it was so powerful. And I was like, dude, that's so true. It's not a lust issue. It's the fact that you just don't have intimacy with God. You're not in the Word. You're not in prayer. So, and I remember what Paul says, that if you feed the things of the flesh, you'll do things of the flesh, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm paraphrasing. Yeah. But if you feed your spirit things of the Spirit, then you'll do things of the Spirit, right? So what does that mean? Pray, be in communion, be in fellowship with fellow Christians, go to church, serve, do what you got to do to keep your spirit alive, keep it refreshed, keep it healthy, and you can stay away from those things that are going to cause you to be in front of Potiphar's wife, and then you're going to be like, I don't know if I want to run away right now.
And that's so good, because we talk about accountability all the time. We talk about community, and you need that. 1,000%. You need someone that you can call, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But most often than not, when you're tempted, you're going to be alone.
Yeah.
And Joseph didn't have a second to be like, oh, let me call one of the brothers that betrayed me real quick.
Let me send a raven out.
And in our modern day context, if you're in a situation, in a predicament, ideally you would want to pick up the phone call, but most often than not, you might not be able to be like, hey, yo, PK, hey, yo, Renee, yo, Polanco. Like,
it's true.
Pray for me right now.
Because that temptation sometimes hits at like 2, 3 in the morning. It's like, I'm not going to call. Bro, these brothers got wives, dog. Like,
and in that moment, that's where the intimacy with the Lord comes in.
Yeah.
Character comes in.
Exactly.
And it's so important.
Yeah. You ever heard the adage of never go grocery shopping while you're hungry?
Yes.
So I really, really know what that feels like. Being hungry, you're going to throw things in that you don't even need.
Then you get home and you're like, why did I buy this?
But it looks delicious at the time.
Because you're starving.
That's good.
Oh, that's so good.
They are starving for intimacy, right?
Yeah.
And it's not even that it is appealing. So, a lot of times you see guys jeopardize their whole family, everything that they worked for, everything, based off of, and if you just look in the comparison sake,
Right.
they don't stack up anything to their significant other. But hunger will make you reach for junk food.
Oh, yeah.
Sheesh.
It just will.
That's so good.
It's true.
And so when you're looking at people and the decisions that they make, are they making it out of desperation?
Yeah.
Or are they actually making it because they're just low quality individuals? I think it's more the former.
That's so good.
That's so true.
It's not that they're low quality individuals. And we clearly know that. I mean, you see these pastors that have their moral failures. They genuinely love the Lord and they wanted to do right. I mean, no pastor gets into this to be like, you know what, one day I'm going to cheat on my wife in 10 years. That sounds like the plan.
It's hard for me to believe.
Right? And so it's, what I've seen in my experience, you get so caught up with building his bride that you forget to spend time with the groom. So it goes back to the intimacy issue. Yeah. It's like you're so focused on preaching and people and this and this and that, and you haven't spent time with the Lord.
Yeah.
And that lack of intimacy with the Lord is going to manifest in desiring. If you're not having intimacy with the Lord, and maybe not even your spouse, that's when you're going to crave that.
Yeah.
Right.
And that fulfillment that only the Lord can provide you.
Right.
Yeah.
You look to your wife to provide you. She falls short because she's not God.
Right.
And now any word that sounds like what you're lacking, oh yeah, she knows me. She gets me.
She gets,
right?
yeah.
and you'll make a decision.
Yeah, and that's how like workplace affairs happen so often, right? That's
yeah,
why that
absolutely.
work wife, work husband stuff, that is demonic.
It is.
And
Yeah.
I know Tim Ross, he's the one that's he said it once in one of his podcasts. He was like, people who say, "Oh, I would never cheat on my spouse." He's like, that's a lie. Because you've never been placed in a situation where you would have to, in that moment, act and be like Joseph, either I run away or I stick around and find out. So he's like, so people who tell you, "Oh, I would never cheat on my spouse," he's like, you don't know that.
You never been given the opportunity.
You've never been given, exactly. He's like, you've never been put in that situation, so how would you know that? You have no idea.
Or if you have, you got out of that temptation once, bravo.
Yeah.
What about next year?
Correct.
Right.
Next.
Exactly.
You were able to fend her off,
Yeah.
but what about Shorty here?
Right.
You know?
Right.
So you don't know what you won't do. You can just say, glory be to God that I am strong and I pray in that area.
Yeah.
But never say never. That's a lesson that I had to learn the hard way. Never say never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's good.
So good.
You want to say something, Eric?
No, I'm good.
Man, and I mean, I just think this leads to a conversation that we could start to dive deeper into generational curses, and we could talk more about this. We could share about our own experiences, but I'll share this because it's recent, and I shared it on Wednesday, and I always share transparently that I think most men do, but I struggled with pornography growing up, got addicted to it, and for years I was like, I'm not addicted to it. This is just something I do sometimes. But whenever I did it, I was like 12 hours nonstop, like for a whole night just watching that stuff. That's when I'm like, yeah, there's a problem here. Yeah. But I was addicted, and it really warped my mind for a lot of years. And I got exposed when I was probably 12 years old. So from 12 on, it was a mess. Thank God I'm free from that now. But anyway, tying that back to generational curses, and something that you said that was so profound, you said that sometimes if you're the first one to break that generational curse, you don't have a reference point. So if your fathers clearly didn't do it before you because they're the ones passing down the generational curse, that's where this is so important, to rely on other brothers, right? Because if you don't have someone to look up to in that sense. But anyway, I found out this week, I had no idea, but and my dad told Kim, which was so funny because we went to eat with my dad, and we had lunch with him, and I stepped out to go to the bathroom, so they stayed talking. For whatever reason, my dad opened up to my wife, and he said that he was just sharing, I guess, the root of all his issues, sexual immorality. And he said something that I didn't know, that his grandfather, so I guess my great-grandfather, owned a video store in Puerto Rico back in had it for a lot of years. My dad was born in 1967, so had a video store in the 1970s in Puerto Rico. And like an old Blockbuster thing.
His dad.
His grandfather.
His grandfather.
So my
Sorry.
great-grandfather.
Okay.
And essentially, the grandfather would sometimes hire his grandchildren to just help him out with the store. Mm-hmm. So my dad was in 8, 9, 10, helping out his grandpa with the store, working for a couple bucks or whatever, or maybe quarters at the time. I don't know what it was before, but my dad said that was when he was exposed to pornography, because in the video store they had the adult section.
The adult section, yeah.
And so my dad said that from 8 years old, that's when it started in him. Wow. And my dad said, and to quote him, he said, that's the moment I became a dog. And so it just really shook me. Like, it reminded me of this quote that I've heard from Patrick Bet-David. We talk a lot about him. He says, when you're a child, you idolize your dad. When you're a teenager, you demonize your dad. When you're an adult, you humanize him. So I'm finally at the stage where I'm humanizing my dad, where I'm like, man, if I didn't know the Lord, if I hadn't said it ends with me, and I'm just letting this generational curse pass on, I can't judge him. Yeah. I'd be the same.
Yeah.
But thank God that the Lord came in and rescued me. And so now the story gets to change. But it takes all of us to say at some point, usually either you hit rock bottom or you encounter the Lord and he gives you revelation. But it takes you to say, I'm done. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It stops with me. Mm-hmm. And you have to take that battle seriously. Because when you understand what generational curses are, and God knows how long before my dad it goes back to. I mean, my grandfather was married 3 times. I don't know what his grandfather did. I don't know what the other grandfather did. So it just runs in generations.
Yeah. it was so profound when you said that, because he said that right before I went up to speak. So I
Yeah.
was just like, you want me to follow that? Okay. but yeah, it to me, it's so much power in that, because one, you actually have to get to the point where you can see your father as someone, not as like this idolized, you're supposed to be perfect, you're my dad, and then see him as a man, right? You are in that perspective now to where I'm an adult, I'm married, I can see how easily I can fall down. And so that
If you don't have the Lord?
Oh man, if you are just out here living life,
Yeah.
we all have friends, we
Yeah,
all,
yeah.
have other family members or whatever that we've seen, go down the wrong path. How easy is it for us to do the same thing and, make that same mistake, right? So understanding and perspective makes you look at it a lot differently too. Like, and I shared this too, with my father, I had to be an adult and a father myself in order for me to forgive him for not being the father that I thought that he should be to me.
Oh yeah.
Because when I was a child, the only thing that I could say was, he's not at my games. And he didn't come to this and that.
Yeah.
As I got older, to understand that when he became a father, his father died. I was 6 months old when, my father lost his father. So you don't have a blueprint of how to do this. And so now I think about myself at 23 years old. I have a newborn child, no reference point. What do I do? Right? And it took for me to actually become a father myself. Coming from a home with a mother and a father, even though our relationship wasn't the best, he still was there. And if I did not have that, if I did not have uncles, if I did not have older cousins, if I did not have other guys in the church that I could look at as a father figure, you know what I mean? I have reference points. And that also gave me understanding. And that also helped me to forgive.
Yeah.
So now I'm to the point where I'm teaching my father how to father.
Wow.
So he sees how I raise my children, and himself having to deal with, I didn't get to do that, but now I get to actually see my son be a better father than me. You know what I mean? And that's hard for a guy to deal with. He's never going to say that to me, but I can see it in a look. I can see it in a smile, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to always still be secure enough to say, all right, God was able to heal those wounds, even though, you still work through, because you're still a human.
Yeah.
But you don't want that to get into how you raise your children, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And let that, kind of get into, because you're shaping and framing them. You don't want that to have an impact on how they perceive, right?
Yeah.
And this is big for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that conversation. You guys want to add anything?
Yeah, I mean, my when I look at my family, all the men in my family, they all struggle with the same thing, which is lust. And it's not necessarily pornography, but it's just lusting after women and adultery. My grandfather's like that, my brother's like that, my father was like that. And obviously, before I was saved, I could care less about any of this stuff. And I was like, whatever, dude. I'll hang out and chill. And I didn't want to get married until I came to the Lord. And then he put the desire in my heart. And then I met my wife. But just like Alessandro, I was like, man, you know what? But that needs to end with me. Because I don't want to have eyes on another woman. I want to find satisfaction in only my wife. And I praise God that I do. But obviously, there's the temptations are there, right? It's again like Joseph and Potiphar's wife. Like those things come at you sometimes, and thank God I've never been in that type of situation. But just visually, right? If you have that wandering eye, you got to catch yourself and be like, all right, no, just focus, pray. Pause for a second. You already know what's on the left. Keep your eyes to the right. And it wasn't until I started really surrendering to God and really dealing with this and going to therapy and realizing like, man, all the men in my family struggle with the same thing. And unfortunately, when I saw my brother, commit his moral failures with his marriage, I was like, man, why did that? Like, it was so random out of him, you know, because my brother's a guy that's, you know, morals. He was a Marine, so he's always been, you know, upright. And then when that happened, I was like, man, that's so strange. And then I started realizing, oh man, but my grandpa, you know, our grandfather also struggled with that. His father also struggled with that because we come from different dads. But still, like, it comes from the.
I'm glad you brought that up because we're saying family is like blanket, but we also have two sides of a family.
Yeah.
So it could be lust on one side.
Yeah.
The other side could be alcoholism.
Yep.
It could be, you know, drugs on one side. One side could be pride.
Right.
You know, so you have both of these sides that make the one.
Oh yeah.
That you have to contend with too. So I'm glad you brought that up.
You know, I was thinking, I've just been absorbing a lot of what's being said. And first of all, I had to think, I was like, what was the thing in my family? And I was like, because I didn't think it was,
you, bro.
I think every man and I think lust is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I don't know if it was the thing. You know, I think for us, it was temper. It was a huge thing. And I've seen my dad, I've seen even his brothers, you know, and it's just like, you know, I wanted to make a Dominican joke. I was like, are we like, is it like my blood? Like, I don't know. But, you know, and then I was like, no, I was an angry boy growing up. And it for sure was just, you know, this generational thing that was, you know, on, you know, and I'm sure people watching probably can relate to that. It's like, yeah, I get hot-headed fast. Like, it's just hard for me to like manage those emotions, and you know, it for sure took Jesus pulling me and saving me from that. Like, you would not recognize me. I think people like no one knows me because I'm not from you know, we live in Miami now, you know, coming from Jersey, like those people would not recognize me like at all if it hadn't been from the Lord, you know, pulling me out. And all of a sudden I have, you know, patience, you know, self-control. And it's just like, and it's not even about, yes, I have patience if I get mad, but I don't even get mad. Like, you know, there's just like this like, you know, freshness of just like,
it's true. This guy is so patient, and I'm like, man, I wish I could get there, dude.
And but you know, anyway, that was just me trying to figure out like what was the thing. And I think my family. But you know, there's a passage in Ezekiel, I don't remember the chapter, 14 I think it was, and it talked about flimsy walls. And it's he's prophesying, because just some context, I'm going to do my best. You know, there's false prophets, and that had been promising peace, and God said there was, you know, God was like, I did not prophesy or tell you to prophesy peace. There'll be no peace at all. And he's like, it's as if these people have built up a flimsy wall and they covered it with whitewash. Whitewash is just paint.
Ezekiel 13.
13. I was close. 14. One off. You know. And I think of that verse is so. I've thought about speaking on that verse, and it's such a heavy passage of flimsy walls. And you know, God prophesied, he says, I'm going to send my wind and I'm going to knock down that wall. And he's like, I'm going to show my anger against that wall. Like there's this righteous anger that God has against this wall built up on nonsense, on unrighteousness, on wickedness. And it looks pretty from the outside because they painted over it. But really there's no foundation. And it's this structure that is going to fall on everyone around it. And so God now in his mercy, if we don't take it down, God's like, I have to send a wind. Stop it.
That's so good.
And I think that's what happens when generational strongholds or even soul ties or whatever you want, you know, it may be, goes unchecked.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's why sometimes we see, unfortunately, these moral failures, like, 20 years of marriage, what happened? That's like, I think you had a wall and you covered it for years, whitewash.
And God gave you chance after chance
after chance. And finally, he's like, I have to send a wind. It's mercy. You know, I have to blow it down. It's not a real, that's not, you know. Anyway, I just thought of that passage.
No, that was good.
It's good. And in the moment we think that's, it feels like all hell is broken loose.
Right.
And it hurts and everything's falling down. But like you said, it's God's mercy.
It's mercy.
Because imagine you getting to the gates of heaven and you never repented, you never confessed that sin. And Jesus goes, I don't know you.
Yeah. He's too good of a God to let you build up nonsense.
Correct.
And then he's also too loving to the people around you to let that get so bad that it crushes and kills them.
Right.
The higher that walls gets, the more dangerous it gets. That's why I think in leadership, the higher you get, you fall, the more it falls on people.
Correct.
It's true. You know, that's why it's like, deal with it early. I think I'd rather deal with this small little thing in my life than go years untreating it.
That's good.
And then painting it on the outside.
That's good.
That it looks presentable.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
PK,
That was good.
I see you bringing something up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strange parallel, but it automatically made me go to the Tower of Babel.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking of one language, one thought, one mind.
Yeah.
Foundation was laid, and they were going to accomplish the task. Then God said, let us go and confuse the language. The curse being broken, I think, also is the language changing. That I'm not going to be angry like my father and my uncles and everyone. Like, it's different, right? And also what I reach for that release valve. Instead of me reaching for a bottle, I'm reaching for my Bible. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It changes.
Bibles over bottles. Come on.
Bibles over bottles. That's good. But it also helps me to understand that when you go, do you look like your family or do you look like the Father?
Wow.
So I never knew you. You're not reflecting me. You look like your uncle. You look like your grandfather. You know what I mean? And to me, that's that changing too. Yes, I still look like I come from my family outside, but inside I look like my Father in heaven.
That's
Yeah.
so good.
You know?
Yes.
And that to me too is the breaking of the generational curses and the strongholds. Is my response is different. If I'm building something, it's not building because it's what we've always done and it's for ourselves. No, we're building the kingdom now, and it's to reflect him. It's for his glory, right?
Yeah.
So not only does that affect me, it affects my children and everything that comes after me.
Yeah.
Because we've traded our family business now from the world's business to his business. You know, we exchange that because, you know, and I'll make it personal. I come from a long line of players. Like, it was just ingrained.
Yeah.
And it's also the definition and how you define how you have a relationship. Why is it so strange for me not to cheat on my wife? Because I know that that's not right now. But when I was coming up, then I see that and it's normalized. To me, it's normal.
Right.
So why is it strange? It's strange because I'm following the blueprint of the one who designed marriage, not just being married and trying to figure it out on my own.
Yeah.
Because left
That's
to
good.
my own devices, I'm going to feed my own flesh.
Yeah.
Right?
That's good.
But I stand in front of the one who designed it, the one who sanctioned it, and said, I vow to you and to her, you first, her second. So are you really cheating on her first or him first? Wow. I'm just going to
good.
drop that
Yeah.
like there.
Strong question.
You know,
Real.
because it's a union, but if he's in the middle, he's what brings the two
Yeah.
to become one. Because you're not coming one flesh as to the husband and wife. I think you're reflecting and becoming more like him,
Absolutely.
and that's what he sanctioned, right? So breaking that and not looking like the world, because we think of the world as not being conformed as the world around us.
Right.
But what about the world that you were born into?
Yeah.
Phew, that's so good.
That's your first world.
Yeah.
That's your first world. Before you get put out and launched into the broader world, your first world is your household.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't conform if it doesn't look like me.
Right.
So don't have a temper.
Yeah.
Don't be lustful. You know, don't use profanity all the time. Don't be prideful. Don't like,
Right.
even though that's where you came from. And there's a saying on the street, like, it's not where you're from, is where you're at. Where are you now?
Right.
You know, so yeah, you could be from that, but testimony in between, where are you now? So you can look at where he brought you from.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Look at how my language has changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
And
know
sometimes
what I mean?
people are their own worst enemy because we hear it all the time in church. Like, I was born this way. That's just the way I grew up. It's just the way I
Yeah.
am. It's just
Yeah, I
my
can't
mom
stand
was
that.
like
That's a
that. My
crutch.
dad was.
Facts.
That's a crutch.
Facts.
It's true, and there's a new identity on the other
Right.
side.
Be
right?
ye transformed.
Right.
With the renewing of your mind.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Right? And if you're reaching for that and saying, this is how I've always been, then that's old.
Yeah.
It's not new.
That's what I'm
It's
saying.
like you said, it's dead.
It's
Yeah.
dead.
It's dead.
Yeah.
Old you is gone.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
why I'm saying
I
it's
think
kind of like a crutch.
That's it.
I honor what the Lord has transformed you into, and
Yes.
believe what He said about
Right.
you, right, and where He's pulling you to.
Right.
You know, I think that's gonna step into that instead of reliving what you used to be.
Exactly.
And sticking to that.
That's
good.
why that gave me so much freedom when he said that. Like, dude, stop orchestrating your life around someone who's dead.
Yeah.
Like that old Sandro
so
that
good.
used to watch porn.
That is so freeing.
Like, I was like, because it felt like I was in shackles. Like, I got to be careful because if I go to the Whole Foods, there might be someone there.
Yeah.
If I go to Shake Shack, there might be someone there. And he's like,
gosh,
and he's
That's
like,
not
dude,
free indeed.
That's not.
That's
it's not.
That's,
That's why he was like,
Oh, that's
calm.
really good.
I remember he was like,
Jump in.
calm
I
down.
have to. I hate
Go
to be
ahead.
rude, but
Go ahead.
a lot of times family will keep you bound because you will always be little Alessandro. Right? So their idea of you can be what they shackle you with.
Yeah.
wow.
So being new and coming around, old mindsets still will keep you in the way of, they will still look at you as old,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
And it's strange.
They did that to Jesus.
Absolutely.
They're like, isn't this the guy from
isn't this the
Nazareth?
carpenter?
Can anything come
right.
from-
Yeah.
You know,
That's
so
crazy.
it's they will, your family 100%.
Family?
I hate that that's true.
It is.
But it's, yeah. I
And that's why it's such a blessing when you break it.
Yeah.
Because now
Yeah.
the children coming after you, they don't have to,
They don't
That's
have.
why I
have
said-
to have the same experience.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Now, being honorable in marriage is just what we do.
Right.
That's just what we do.
That's good.
Not having a good temper, that's just what we do. So if you do anything outside of that, you're outside of the character.
Yeah.
So you get to build new legacy
Mm-hmm.
around it. So when you're the one to do it, you help now set the new foundation
Yeah.
on which this, family tree is being grown,
Yeah.
and the branches and the leaves, all that.
Can I ask you a question,
Sure.
Pastor?
Yeah.
How would you help someone have that mind shift of like, hey, your family is the one that's could keep you where you're at? Like, how do you lovingly and gently?
That can be an offensive
Yeah.
question.
Right, yeah, it could be an offensive
They could take that,
conversation.
like,
Because we're like, oh, what do you mean? I love my mom. I love my dad. It's like, yeah, I know you love your mom.
Don't
and
talk
your
about my
dad.
mama that way.
Yeah, but I know you love your parents,
Yeah.
and I'm sure they're great people. But the stuff that they keep speaking over you, it's exactly what's keeping you shackled to these old vices and this,
Yes.
and your flesh still acting out.
Yes.
So how do you, as a pastor, with love and grace and truth, guide them into like, oh man, you know what? I have to establish boundaries with my family so I can start breaking these generational curses.
That's a heavy question.
Sorry.
You got to hit him with the Jesus scripture. Who is my mother?
Who is my mother and who are my brothers?
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And to me, that's going to be something too. But it also has to start with, are they in a position to receive
That's true.
that? Right?
Yeah. Yeah, they got to want it.
They have to want it, and it's still, and it's tough too because we're like instructed to obey
Right.
our mother and our father and honor them.
Right.
Right? It's still honor in loving you from over there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to dishonor you,
Right.
but I can still honor you
From a
and
distance.
From a distance, right? Because especially if I have a family, I'm going to have to give account for my family.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to give account to Jesus, who's instructed me to live a certain way, but because of how I think my family is going to receive it or think about it, I'm going to take their word over his. So to me, who's most important to you in this moment, right?
Right.
If it's, I'm more worried about what my family thinks about me, or am I more worried about who Jesus said I am to be?
Yeah.
Right. So it's a decision that you have to, because that's a part of dying to yourself too. I have to die to everybody else's expectations of me.
Wow.
And sometimes that's the hardest death that you can go through.
Wow.
Selah.
Yeah.
And, it's like people confuse, wanting to honor their parents
Yes.
versus being afraid to displease them. And that's like, but that's a different thing.
different.
They might not be pleased. They might disagree with something, but God has called me somewhere.
Yeah.
That's first in
Yeah.
my life. And I'm sorry if that
Yeah.
doesn't align with your expectations all the time.
Yeah.
Let it be my family in this season or my whatever it may be. I do honor you. I'm sorry that this season in my life doesn't please you.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's kind of separate there.
Yeah.
And sorry if I may interrupt. I just
Of course.
you had a great point that the whole honoring, because I remember when my dad was unfaithful to my mom again, unfortunately, and it resulted in their second divorce. I was the one who discovered that, so I had to confront my dad about it and tell him like, hey, I know about this. You gotta tell my mom. If you guys don't want, if you can't be honest and loyal to her, then just get a divorce and go do your life. But you can't do this. You can't pretend to be married to my mom and be having an affair.
Yeah.
And so I pushed him, and eventually he did it. He came clean. It resulted in a divorce. And I remember, obviously, my mother was destroyed, but she got through it. But then my dad probably after that had the worst year of his life, because at the same time he lost my mom, he lost our family because my brother and my sister didn't want to talk to him for like 6 months. He lost his family, house. He lost his job at the same time. My dad hit real rock bottom that year.
Yeah.
And I remember visiting him, and he was just broken, and he looked like a walking dead man, like a dead corpse, like he was going through it. And I remember feeling such a guilt. I'm like, Lord, this doesn't feel like honoring. Like how could I honored my mom, but I'm not honoring my dad. At least it felt that way. So I had to take it to therapy, and I'll never forget what the therapist told me. He's like, you did honor him, because honoring someone means pointing out God's truth and character in someone's life.
Amen.
And I didn't get that at the time, right? At the time, I was like, man, this is hard. This doesn't feel like honoring, right? So, I mean, it's hard. It's hard, to say the least. Honoring people, it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, and we can't skirt past that too.
Yeah.
Because outside circumstances definitely have an impact on external actions.
1,000%.
Because losing a lot will help you become out and act outside of yourself.
Yeah.
Because here I am used to this life. Stuff starts to get thrown around. We have plenty of examples of that, right? How do I still respond? Am I still secure in my identity in him? Or am I allowing outside things to now I have to go and try to comfort myself? And comfort may look different to a lot of people. I said it the
1,000%.
other night, right? If someone is drowning, I can't judge you by what you chose to reach and hold on to, because to you, that's what was close to you, and that's what you thought was going to save your life at that moment.
Yeah.
At that moment. So
good.
what are you reaching for in order to save your life? That's the question.
Yeah. You better be close to Jesus.
You better be.
I think it goes back to the intimacy thing.
It goes back to that.
Of Peter when he was out on the water.
I'm going
stepping.
back to what I knew.
Right.
I'm going back to what I knew. And this is someone who walked with Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, change. You can see the transformation, even though like I can still cut an ear off, still curse you out.
Yeah.
We can still,
We can still get there. Like I hadn't forgotten,
Right.
but circumstances change. My Savior is dead. What do? I'm going back to what I used to do.
What I used to do. Wow, I wasn't even thinking about that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
But if you look at Luke
I'll
5,
go fish. I'm
But
gonna
if-
go back to my job. Right. Yes.
you exactly where you're supposed to be. So if you go back to Luke 5 and you look, this is where he discovered Jesus. But he was where he was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right? Let me use your boat.
Yeah.
Goes and changes his life.
Yeah.
How strange is it that when I need to go and look for you and find you, you back at your boat? Somebody who's kicked a drug habit. Life happens to them. Where can you find them? Back where they came from, right? So people will relapse.
Yeah.
That's
That's what's called a relapse.
It's called a relapse. Yeah. And it's so profound, but it also, that change has to endure through circumstances,
Yeah.
right? And you have to change what you reach for. Yeah.
That's good. Man, something else I wanted to touch on
Yeah.
was still related to the generational curses, because we talk a lot about generational curses in the sense of like family and the family tree. Some things go beyond family too. It goes culturally.
And
And that's a big one too. You know,
talked about enough.
it's just how we do. It's just how Hispanics are. It's just how Black people are.
Oh, yeah.
God,
And it's like that could also be a crutch. It's not just your family. It's now your culture. And I remember like I always use this example, and that's why you got to really die to yourself and to your will, and just, God, my life is yours, and I'm a kingdom citizen. Before I am Puerto Rican,
Right.
before I am Hispanic, before I'm whatever, I'm a child of God. And I always use this example because a couple months ago, political season was crazy. There was a comedian who said a rather controversial comment about Puerto Ricans and whatever. Puerto Ricans were living on social media everywhere. And I'm like, I don't see y'all, because the ones that obviously Puerto Ricans that don't believe in God, whatever. But like I knew friends that I know love the Lord. I was like, y'all don't get this upset when another comedian makes fun of Jesus on the cross. Like I've seen comedians make fun of Jesus on the cross. The guy, he's funny, but what's the ginger guy?
Oh, Andrew Santino.
Funny guy. But I tried to watch a special. First 10 minutes, he's making fun of
First 10
Jesus. I
minutes,
turned it
yeah,
off.
Yeah, I'm out.
And I'm like, you don't get mad at that guy.
Yeah.
He's making fun of your savior. I
Right.
love my island. Puerto Rico didn't die for me though. Jesus did.
Right.
It's deep.
Right.
And so like sometimes we have to get off this idea like that's just how we are. This is my Puerto Rico, whatever, North Carolina. I don't know.
It's you know, there's so much wisdom in what you're saying.
Yeah, it
it's
is.
it's so. I used to tell. I remember in college, you know, leading some of the other students and stuff. They'll be like, "Oh, you know, I'm late. It's just my, you know, it's
just how I am."
Miami time. That's just how I am."
Oh my gosh.
And I would
yes.
tell them, I was like, "Hey, it's like, you know, how you are, your personality type, your
Right.
culture, whatever it may be, is not an excuse for you to be unprofessional."
That's good.
It's and that was kind of like a leadership talk. Like, I don't really care where you're
my gosh,
from.
that is so
nothing to do with professionalism. Oh, that's just how I am. Nothing to do with professionalism.
Yeah.
That's how I talk. Nothing to do with why is it, why are you
Correct.
bringing it into a professional setting? But I love how you brought it into this conversation of even like in a generational, strongholds conversation of culturally people carry that and walk with that. And it's just, it's almost like I want to say, it's like, well, who told you that? Right.
Right.
Because it's nowhere in scripture. It's like, it's, I don't know if this is just coming to me now. It's almost like God in the garden when he found them naked. And he was like, "Oh, I was naked." And he was like, "Well, who told you were naked?"
Right.
It's like, why are you now saying these things? It's like, that wasn't kingdom.
Right.
And all of a sudden it's like, well, no, this is like, I'm naked. And so
I didn't
it's like,
tell you that.
I didn't tell you that.
right.
You learned that on your own.
Exactly. This is all of a sudden, it's like, I'm just like this, or I'm just naked, or I'm just like, I don't know. And it's just like, who told you were this way? This is not citizen of heaven, mentality.
Right. This isn't
or
like kingdom
culture.
talk.
and their actions
Right.
dictated what they were told. Right?
Yeah.
So when they realized they were naked, they went to go and cover
And they
themselves,
cover themselves.
Yeah.
right? So, with that too, it all goes back to identity.
Yeah.
So I'm able to embrace that and say, because I'm black, this is what I do. Certain things, you cannot change the color of your face.
Right.
Let me preface that. Naturally.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
There are other things that can assist you with that. Right?
Yeah.
But who you are and like externally, yeah, okay. That's why I say you can still look like your father.
Yeah.
Have to be your father. You
Right.
can still look like your cousin. You don't have to be your cousin.
Right.
Right.
So it's the identity in which you choose to embrace. And if we are renewing, if we're changing, then some of those things don't apply anymore.
That's so
Yeah.
good.
Like, how can you now say that you're a vegan and live by that? And other people say, well, you used to always eat meat. Well, I don't eat it anymore. I just don't do that. And you
That's
can
a
feel
good point.
comfortable at that.
Yeah.
Right? I've seen people, like my wife doesn't eat meat. Crazy to me. Like that just not my testimony, right?
Yeah.
But she can still live in an environment with us and we eat meat.
Yeah.
And it's fine, but she's not going to compromise herself just to be able to make other people feel comfortable. So you still have to be able to stick to your morals and your
Yeah,
and your
for
principles. So I'd say that too to that person who's like, okay, my family usually does this. God is leading me and pulling me this way. How do I still have and deal with that tension? Right? Matthew 12:50, Jesus said it the best. Anyone who does the will of my Father in heaven is my brother and sister and my mother.
That's good.
So it's not just an identity thing. It is now, okay, how do you operate?
Yeah.
Do you look like the Father? Do you like those things that you are doing? How you respond?
Yeah.
Right.
How you honor?
Yeah.
Does it look like him? Or does it look like how our family has always done it?
Yeah.
That's so good. The word says, sorry, let me just add this real quick. The word says that Jesus is the image of the invisible God. And so like when you get to you meet Jesus, it's like, who do you look like? You look like me?
Yeah.
Or do you look like the past, the world, your culture, what you grew up around, your sin, etc.?
Yeah. I was going to say that, and this isn't theological or biblical, but
No, I'm just playing. I'm just kidding.
We're doing so good.
no, but I was going to say that it leads me to believe, or just to ponder on, that being created in the image of God, we have to steward that image to maintain that image.
Oh, you better.
Yeah.
You better.
Like, it's not so much, oh yeah, I'm created in the image of God. That's great. But like you said, it's like, but you still look like your dad here,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, genes are genes,
Yeah.
right? And they're going to do what they're going to do. Yeah. But your image, your spiritual image, right, that we were created with him, his breath is in our lungs. We have to maintain that. So when we get up there, he's like, okay, yeah, you look like me.
Yeah.
To me too, something I said before, it's like, what you're known for, right? It's in your name. Kentucky Fried Chicken. If we pull up to the drive-thru and we place our order and they say, I'm so sorry, we're out of chicken. How?
Right.
Your name is Kentucky Fried Chicken.
That's my gripe with Pollo Tropical.
How are you out?
Right.
Yeah.
Jesus is love.
Right.
How are you out of love? It's in your name.
Right.
How are you out of forgiveness? How are you out of patience?
That's good.
Oh, that's so good.
It's in your name. Yeah. So for you to say, I am Christian, are you reflecting Christ?
Right.
So you shouldn't be running out
of anything.
It's like
but if you are, the same way that they run out of chicken, they have a truck to come and refill what they are now lacking.
Right.
Once I was empty, now we have chicken.
That's good.
What are you going to get refilled? Right?
Yeah.
I'm out of this. Am I going to Alessandro, who's going to give me a word that I know will help me? Or am I going to someone who has no idea who Christ is and is going to answer me and fill me with what the world say?
Right.
So both are trying to help me, but which one reflects more so of who I am now?
Yeah.
That's why, picking up the phone and having that circle is important, but who am I calling?
Right.
That matters.
Because it's going to matter if I'm going to call you and say, yo, I'm struggling right now. I'm thinking about cheating on my wife. Are you going to tell me to go home? Or somebody else going to say, hey, yo, do that. But when you do it, this is how you get away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's so true.
In their mind, they think they're helping.
And they do. They really think they're helping, or they'll try to. I'm so sorry. Thank God I have. I've heard. People around me validate some things. I had to step in. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Like, how are we entertaining this kind of conversation where it'll be like, oh, I'm struggling, and be like, well, and it's almost like they'll start to identify with them, like, my wife too, and they're always this, and I'm like, whoa. I'm like, guys, and I gotta reel them back. It's like who you go to matters, because they're planting seeds. Is what they're doing, and I think who and where you go to is the fruit you're going to bear.
Oh, absolutely.
1,000%.
If you go off culture, you're going to bear culture fruit.
1,000%.
And if you go off of friends, you better. I hope that, like you said, you're going to good people who are going to lead you in the right way. So that way, the fruit that you bear from it looks like the Father. How you're saying, do you look like your Father? If you look like the Father, you bear fruit.
Yeah.
Good fruit. That's straight scripture. So it's. That's really good what you were saying, PK.
We've talked about family. We've talked about culture.
Yeah.
I'm debating which one's the worst. Maybe they're all bad, but friends also, man. Like friends might be the worst.
Listen.
Like old friends.
Yeah, you're the sum of the
Because-
5 people you hang out with.
Listen.
Man, because like I go back and sometimes I go back to Puerto Rico and friends who, I mean, I've been saved for since I was 12, so I always knew the Lord, but my walk has been in different levels, maturity wise, and so I still have friends that back in the day, when I wasn't as mature, you go to a restaurant, pretty waitress, and you're breaking your neck, So now you go back and they're still like, hey, bro, look, and I'm like, oh, cool. They're like, I'm like, no, man, I'm good, I'm chilling, and so it's awkward.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with you? It's like,
Yeah.
bro, I mean, I'm married, trying to be different. Some of them will be like, so,
Right. She don't know.
It's hard, man. It's hard to break those things culturally, family-wise, friend-wise. Like, it's hard to break curses, like generational curses. It's hard to break things that you came out of. Like, that stuff is hard.
I think a lot of generational curses, and we mentioned it earlier, like a lot of generational curses can be broken. Family, culture, and friends with boundaries. The second you start putting boundaries around yourself and around those people, you're going to see a massive shift in your life, and you're going to see how those chains start breaking. Because if you, going back to the family, right? Like they keep calling you out of your name, or they keep, whatever, they keep you in this cycle because of whatever they say, whatever they tell you, whatever they show you, then you already know, like, you know what? I don't think I can keep going back to my mom for advice. Because I picture it like this, right? If I'm having issues with my wife, right, and me and her are arguing or whatever, the last person I would call would be my grandfather, who does not honor his wife and has never honored his wife.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he'll be like, just go get another one, or just whatever, just get out and sow your wild oats. That's literally what he would tell me, because I know him.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's the last person I would call for marriage advice.
Yeah.
And I remember when I got married, this is a really quick side story. When I got married, I told my mom, if he comes up to me at my wedding, tries to give me marriage advice, I might go to jail that day. Because I will headbutt him in front of the whole room. Like, dude, get out.
It's funny, as you were talking about boundaries, I got this image of a roller coaster because setting up those boundaries can be uncomfortable with family,
especially with family.
with people from where you grew up culturally, friends. It's uncomfortable, right?
I feel like it's guaranteed they're going to get offended.
yeah.
Oh,
but
I think boundaries are meant to offend people.
for sure. And the image that I got from the roller coaster is like, nobody's super comfortable in a roller coaster. You're tight,
Right.
you're like this, but it's meant to protect you.
Correct.
Take those boundaries off, you're gonna die in that roller coaster.
Right.
So boundaries, uncomfortable,
Yeah.
but they're meant to protect you, and
so
your
good,
life
dude.
depends on it.
Yeah, it's like cattle.
Yeah.
That's why you have electric fences. Yeah, they're going to get zapped, but why? It's to stop them from getting onto the road.
And it's also a control about access too, right? So I can have a boundary, but I control the gate
That's true.
and who actually gets
Correct.
to come to me and
That's
who
true.
I get to go to, right? And it's important that you just don't block yourself off and say, I'm done with you.
That's true.
Some people you just have to do that with.
Right.
But it's some people, even though their lifestyle does not equate to what it is, like, your circle and the new you, I can, oh my goodness, full circle. I went to hang out with some old friends from college, right? They, know that I'm saved. They know that, and kind of follow my journey from leading young adults to, now just being in church. They know me, right? And Rev Kev, like, they know. I'm in the environment where years ago I would be right along with them. But it was such in this environment that they still poured their drinks, they still smoked their weed. But what happened was, because I did not waver, it opened the conversation of, hey man, so where did it all change for you?
Yeah, start getting curious.
And it allowed me to share the gospel.
That's good.
So that access is important. Like, yes, I'm going to put the boundary there that I'm not going to do exactly what they do. But I still will leave room enough that if they want to get access, I'm able to do that.
That's
right?
good.
I can still be. But if I would have gone in and did exactly and conformed to the environment, What kind of witness would that be?
Yeah.
That's really good.
Right?
You just modeled that you're set apart. You didn't separate.
No.
They have access, but yes, I'm set apart, but I'm not separated.
That's what
You
upsets me
can't-
so
yeah.
much about when people try to like remix and say, well, Jesus hung out with prostitutes. I'm like, word?
He didn't sleep with them though.
Or was it they were hanging
with him.
Oh, that's good.
Hanging
That's
out
really
with, you know, yeah, I'm curious, right? He allowed still access, but he never wavered away from what his will was.
Right.
You know? So sometimes us as family and us friends, we can, and that helps us to, you know, kind of control our own selves too, because we can get high and mighty in our salvation as well. But we start looking down
Oh yeah.
instead of across at people.
Oof. Yeah.
Very good.
You know what I mean? So I don't want people to think that my lifestyle is out of reach because I'm nothing without him.
Oh, 1,000.
Yeah.
Like, let's be clear.
Yeah.
Let's be clear. And I will fail today. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
It's him for everything.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So I never want to get to the point where even in culture, even in family, even in friends, that we make Jesus out of reach.
Yeah.
That's so good. That's so good. And earlier we were talking with Nate about just humility.
Yeah.
And I always I tell people, don't ever forget what the Lord brought you out of.
Never.
Like, don't look now on your high horse like, oh, look at them. It's
No.
like, dude, that could be me tomorrow.
Bro,
Yeah.
you cannot forget either, because we overcome blood of the Lamb, word of the testimony.
Yep.
If we just take the blood and don't have the word of the testimony, people are still bound.
It's half a breakthrough.
They will
There's no
find it,
breakthrough.
but it
Yeah.
won't be from you,
Yeah.
Right.
you know? And are you fully honoring God without telling people where he brought you from? Are you taking the credit for yourself? I'm self-made. No, you're not. Like, they mean, no, you're not. Like, that's how you
That's
really
so
want to
good.
look at it, right?
That's so good. Yes.
So I'm a product of my environment, but I'm a new creation in him.
So
Right.
good.
So that's why I will never separate you. Like, yes, I'm still relationally related to my family.
Yeah.
Never like separation.
Yeah. That's
But
good.
I do have control over whether I allow my children to experience what I experienced.
1,000%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
You now have control over that.
Yeah.
Right? And now still control of how you establish your new legacy with your children, with your wife, with your family, and with your friends moving forward. So I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, you can break it, break it, you know, but walking with it is going to be the biggest thing now. Establishing is the thing now. And that's why you have to have him in order to do that. Because if it's your will, it's not going to last. If it's his, it's going to endure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Amen.
That's good.
Want to start wrapping it up?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you guys have any last comments, questions?
Yeah, just PK, what is one thing, one piece of advice or wise counsel you can offer anybody, any young adult right now?
Oh, my goodness. Well, pertaining to this, I know it's tough, and we really didn't dig into it. Maybe the part 2 we'll get into this. But my father has struggled with alcoholism to this day, right? He has tried to, kick the habit, and has tried to, go get professional help and, try to do cold turkey and all of those things. But there are some things that are actually in the word stronghold. They hold strong,
Yeah.
right? There are some things that young adults fear so much because they know they may have a genetic predisposition to it. I was never going to be an alcoholic just because of what I saw and experienced. However, because of the addictive trait, I became addicted to other things. So looking at one perspective and saying, I'll never do that, you will still, a possibility to open up to other things.
Yeah.
Right. So as a young adult, and as you're breaking away and trying to figure yourself out and trying to actually find yourself in this world, being set apart from this world right now, you're going to have to make a decision and stand on that and still be okay with being forgiven. even if you made mistakes. Like, don't allow that to define every next step that you make, but be wise enough to know that those holes still exist. Right? So be responsible about your decisions. Be careful about the positions that you place yourself in. Having a strong circle of friends that reflect where you're trying to go and not where you're trying to leave is going to be important. And then just make Jesus reachable for people. Your life is going to be a testimony to most. Your words are going to be a testimony to others. Make sure that the audio matches the video.
It's good. Make sure
The audio matches the video.
Well,
Got that from my wife.
that's true. I've heard her say that.
That is good. I love that.
I see Nate bobbing his head like, yeah.
That's a beautiful way, perfect way to
I love
end
this,
it.
man.
Man, Pastor Kevin, thank you, sir, for everything you've done. Not just for coming on tonight, but just honestly in my life, you have no idea the impact you've made. Like, I didn't do this the day that I preached, but I genuinely wanted to take a moment to honor you as well, and because your impact in my life has been more than you know. Like, those conversations, those lunches that we've had together have been life-changing, for real. And I appreciate you more than you know, like, because I see you as a pastor, as a father figure, as a friend, a brother. Like, I have so much respect for you, love and admiration for you. So thank you for everything you've done for me personally and for coming on the pod today.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Hopefully it won't be the last time.
I can't end it like that. Because it's his podcast, I know. I got to give you flowers, too. This is my kid's, like, youth director, youth pastor. Like, thank you for being able to say things that make an impact in their lives.
Amen.
That, sometimes, your father can say it. But if someone else says, like, oh, my God, Dad, you don't believe Alessandro Fowler. Like, word.
I taught him that.
I said that. Like, but I love it. And I love you and your beautiful wife.
I love you, sir.
And I thank you for staying. I'll never forget the conversation once we were, like, really deciding if we were going to stay or we were going to leave. And you were actually looking at me and was like, what are you going to do? I have a feeling right now, and I stand on, if I would have said, yo, we're packing up and leaving tomorrow, you would have left. I really feel that in my heart of hearts. So one of the reasons that I stayed, not, of course, because God said stay. He didn't say leave. But I also wanted to be here for you, too.
Appreciate that.
Because what God is going to do in your life, in your ministry, with your family, with your legacy,
Amen.
I'm grateful to be a part of that, man.
Glory
and,
to God.
Wow.
You're an awesome individual, and I honor you in this moment. And
Thank
you
you,
two
sir.
fellas, like, you
Appreciate
guys
that.
could be doing anything right now. You could be podcasting about, twerking memes. Like, but you're doing
One of those, hey, Jamie, pull that up.
You know what I'm saying? but you're doing this and being able to spread the gospel in a way that people will be able to get it that may never step foot into a church.
Yeah.
They're able to see Jesus in a way that you are providing. And man, I just want to honor you guys, man. And
Appreciate
continue
that.
success.
Thank
to
you,
the
Pastor.
podcast.
I
Thank
appreciate
you for
you.
allowing me to be here.
Of course.
You guys are awesome.
It
was
won't
an
be the
honor to
last
have you.
time.
Yeah,
Oh,
for sure.
man. Love
It was
you,
an
sir.
honor to meet you, too.
Oh, no doubt.
Awesome. I
Man.
can't wait for part 2.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, there'll definitely be a part 2. I promise you that. But man, thank you so much for watching today, guys. I hope this blessed you. As always, if you enjoyed the conversation, make sure you leave a comment. Let us know what you liked about the episode, what other topics you want to see. If you want to see Pastor Kevin back on the show, whether you want to or not, we're going to have him back. So just say yes.
It's true.
Stuck with me.
But make sure you subscribe, leave a like. We love you guys. And until next time, peace.